Week 1 of the Kansas City Chiefs OTA practice period is officially in the books. And with that being said, we have so many news, notes, highlights, observations to cover in this video. Now, usually I just post the day-to-day update for OTAs, but for you guys who maybe missed out on day 2 or day 1 or day 3, I'm going to put all the news in one video so you guys are up to date with everything that happened here in Kansas City. Now, before we jump into the video, I need you guys to do me a favor. Who is someone that has maybe surprised you so far, generated some buzz in your eyes, or who do you think could have a big impact on this team next season? Compared to last season, it could be a rookie, someone who just joined the team, or someone who's been on the team and hasn't really been great yet, but could take that major jump up. Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, let's jump into the video a little bit. Now, there was a lot of concern with a couple of different things in terms of the wide receiver room. One being Rashee Rice. Was he going to be able to practice? Was he going to be able to be at OTAs? And things, we found out really quickly that, yeah, he was going to practice. He was going to be here as he figured out the legal situations. Now, the great news, the big piece of news that happened the other day and one of the first days of OTAs was the photographer actually dropped the charges and said, you know what, it's fine. We don't need to go to court. You're good. Rashee Rice is off the table with that. He's fine. He will be at practice. Everything is looking good in terms of that situation. We'll continue to monitor the other ones. But good news is Rashee Rice is here, building chemistry with Mahomes, building rapport with Hollywood, and even Xavier Worthy as well. Some of these guys were training together outside of OTAs, continuing to put in that work. So that is a great thing to see. Now, another thing to talk about is Hollywood. Man, Hollywood looks good. As you see on the thumbnail, Mahomes and Hollywood Brown have been connecting a lot on deep balls. So we actually heard a quote from Mahomes saying, hey, it's good to have weapons. Guys, going into last season, the Chiefs were known as a team that lost almost all their weapons, right? You had Justin Watson, you had a guy like Rashee Rice, didn't really know how he was going to pan out last year at this time, and then you had Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore. Wasn't the greatest, right? Wasn't the greatest at all, but now, not only do you have Rashee Rice, who broke out in year 1, looks like he could be a nasty wide receiver for the next decade, but you also bring in Hollywood Brown, an absolute field stretcher, can get behind the defense and make big time plays, and then you find a way to make a trade with the Buffalo Bills, right, to get Xavier Worthy, a guy who ran the fastest 40-yard dash in NFL history. Okay, this wide receiver room is 10 times better than it was last season. Just think about that when you think about, can the Chiefs go back to back to back? I think they can if they stay healthy. But that's a big question. Can they stay healthy? A couple of days ago, we found out that Xavier Worthy was going to miss practice, and people were a little bit nervous. Why is he not practicing? Does he not have his helmet on? Why is he not with the team right now? Now, the big answer to that question was just a little bit of a strain. Tweaked, I believe, his hamstring or one of his legs, right? He's going to miss a couple of days, but next week he should be back, and that is good news. But staying healthy is something that the Chiefs need to do to keep that dream alive. And man, I'll tell you what, right now, they have done such a good job keeping this team together throughout the offseason that they definitely have the best chance of going back to back to back, which is insane to even think about. Now, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice have been really good so far in camp. When Xavier Worthy is out there, you can tell he's going to be a difference maker. Someone who is going to keep the defense honest, bring those safeties back, because not only do you have him who has lightning speed, but you also have Hollywood, right? So think about what that is going to do for the running game. Isaiah Pacheco, Deneric Prince, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, those guys are going to be able to run the football a lot because you're not going to see stacked boxes. Now that there's wide receivers here that can really make things happen, good luck defenses, because I don't know how you're going to be able to stop Patrick Mahomes and these wide receivers, while also staying, conservative with protecting the run game as well. So we'll see how that works out. We also seen a little bit of, actually, before we get into that, do me a big favor, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and we will be covering the Chiefs throughout everything, right? Not only OTAs, but mandatory minicamp, preseason, regular season, everything you think of, we've got you guys covered, so join the family. We also saw that Kadarius Toney was not at practice. Probably you guys don't care because, he's had some issues in the past, But you talk about potential with Kadarius Toney. Yeah, he was a first-round pick for a reason. If he just figures out how to catch the football like a wide receiver, the man's going to be really, really good. Okay, so don't give up on him, and don't give up on Sky Moore just yet either. His wide receiver room is very deep now, and definitely cool to look at, right? Now, another guy who's been looking very, very interesting, Rees-Zammit. Now, they don't really know where he's going to play. They don't really know what he's going to do, but what they do know is he can be a playmaker. He is a guy that when he has the football in his hands, you can just see the burst. You can see the athleticism, right? A rugby guy coming over here, trying to play some football, lands in the best team in football with Patrick Mahomes. But this dude's been putting on a show. And if you go look at any media sources coming out from Kansas City, they're going to rave. And they're going to rave and rave and rave about this dude right here. And again, I don't know where he's going to play. But he's been playing a little bit of return. He's been playing a little bit as a scat back, getting out the backfield, catching some footballs. I think you can utilize him in a bunch of different ways. And I think you guys should comment right now, where do you think that he should play the majority of their snaps if he does actually make the team? But as of right now, the mechanics are there. The way he holds the football could be a little scary at times, once we get actual game footage. But as he continues to develop and as he continues to, acclimate himself to the NFL play style and the Chiefs, I think he's got a ton of potential. Now, again, I want to see how he does with pads on, with contact. But as of right now, the man's got hands. He can catch. He's a big-time playmaker. He just looks like an overall good football player. Again, don't take everything with a grain of salt because, again, no pads and whatnot. But he looks good. He looks good. So definitely excited to see him continue to develop. On the defensive side of the football, there are a couple of guys that Steve Spagnuolo absolutely love, right? Kamal Hayden and Jaden Hicks, two safeties that they brought over in the draft in the 4th and 6th round. Both these guys look like they have a ton of potential, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. Actually, Kamal Hayden's been playing more as a outside cornerback. So, Jaden Hicks is the guy playing safety. My bad. I might have misspoken there for a second. But those two players right there are guys they love. And you know what? They might not be day one starters now, but I guarantee you they will find a way to contribute right away. Whether it be on special teams, as a depth role, or even a week-by-week plug-and-play starter if there's injuries. Those guys are going to be able to make plays for this football team right away, which is huge finds late in the draft, especially with Kamal Hayden. I'm excited to see how they continue to develop and how they stack up versus other teams in the preseason. That's when I'm going to pay, the most attention to those guys right there. We also seen a lot of O-linemen come in here trying to build for the future. We also have issues with Wanya Morris and Godric getting through some legal issues as well. Seems like they're fine. Seems like they'll be available for, whatever they do next, right? But a guy like Kingsley, I think he's going to be able to compete for a starting job, maybe even right away, depending on what happens with Wanya Morris. But look out for Kingsley. I'm not even going to try to say his last name because I'll butcher it, but look out for him to potentially even earn a starting job day one, right? And then you look at Hunter Nurzad and CJ Hansen. Those are two guys who add depth, but also potential down the line that can develop and, be mentored. They're well coached. They want to be coached and they want to be better, which is something you just want to see out of a football player. And, I think Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith and Joe Thuney can also just help mentor and develop them down the line as well, which makes them give you some sort of potential for down the line in the future for being starters. And then lastly, Jared Wiley. Dude just looks like a natural tight end that, again, I know I've been saying this word a lot, but potential, man. You could just see it. It oozes off him. And again, I don't think he's not gonna come in here and wow anybody right away. They have a lot of guys they love, and Travis Kelce and Noah Gray, and even Irv Smith coming over from Cincinnati is a guy that can really get up the seams and make big time plays. Again, stretch the field. But Jared Wiley, man, look out for him. Look out for him, seriously. If there was a couple of guys you guys should be watching out for, it's Jaden Hicks, it's Jared Wiley, and it's Rees-Zammit. Those are the three guys who I really think could take major jumps up. Well, not jumps up, but make major moves in terms of preseason and whatnot. Just keep an eye on those guys throughout the rest of OTA. So, with that being said, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. Oh, Nazee. Forgot to say about Nazee Johnson. Nazee Johnson. I believe he was a 7th round pick back in 2022, I want to believe. He's a guy that's looking a lot better. You can tell he's put in a lot of work. He's one of those guys that doesn't really care about the money, doesn't really care about the fame, but wants to play football, wants to win football games, and wants to be a contributor. So far, he's doing that so far in my eyes in camp. A lot of the media members are raving about him. But with that being said, guys, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. We're gonna know a lot more once we get the pads on and whatnot. Make sure you guys stay tuned, man. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next Chiefs update. Peace.